Hey, tarot fans, I'm Cindy, and welcome to Timeless Tarot. And this is your general reading for the month of January 2026 for water signs. That's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What I'm going to do is pull a 9-card spread for you guys, 3 cards for your recent past, 3 cards for your current energies, and 3 cards for the incoming energies again for January 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. Before I get started, couple things. There are timestamps in the description box below, so you can skip ahead to your sign. You don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to. Also, this is a general reading, so please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If it doesn't make any sense to you, it's not your story, and just leave it behind. So I'm going to get started right now with Cancer. Cancer, 3 cards for January 2026. Your recent past. Let's see what we got. All right. You start off with the Knight of Wands in the reverse, the 8 of Swords in the upright, and also the 10 of Swords in the reverse. That's for your recent past. That looks a little chunky there. Looks like you're coming out of it, but we'll get to it. In your current energies, Cancer, for January 2026, we have the Devil, in the center of the deck. Oh dear. Okay, things are getting serious here. So, okay, we got the Devil in the center of the deck. That is the main energy that you are dealing with right now. Flanked by the flanked by Strength, which is an 8 card in the reverse. Pulling another 8 card on the waxing energy, the incoming energy into your present. We have the 8 of Cups in the upright. That's emotional disengagement. I think we got some chunkiness in the past, perhaps a little toxicity, perhaps even some sort of addictive behavior that I think actually it's looking like you're coming out of it, not moving into it. So that's good. But let's take a look at your incoming energy. All right, Page of Pentacles. Good. Learning something new. 9 of Pentacles. Gain. And you close out on the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Interesting. For the overall energy for the reading, in your conscious awareness, this is the energy that you're operating under, that you are aware of. We have the 5 of Wands, and on the bottom of the deck, your subconscious energies. These are the energies that are in play, that may even be very strongly in play, but you're not aware of them. They're subconscious, at least predominantly so. Starting out with those two, your conscious awareness, you have the 5 of Wands, strife. Your subconscious awareness, you have the High Priestess, which is not listening to your intuition. It could also be, it's in the reverse here. And I don't feel like it's a blockage. I feel like it's more like you are actually tuning in. Your intuition is on the table. It's not fully locked in. And probably the main reason for that is in your conscious awareness, you have too many split focus, possibly too many competing directions, too many competing passions, inspirations, and that's slowing down your intuition. Your intuition, I think, is probably trying to lock in amongst those different directions that you have on deck. Yeah, I think that there's a lag time. Consciously, you're still looking at all of these options, but I think subconsciously, your intuition is honing in on your path forward, because this is clearly, I mean, I know it's the new year and everybody's making an assessment, and you are not off course with that. That devil keeps pulling me back. The devil in the center of your deck, and it's really strong. So there is a pattern here uh, that is no longer serving you. Okay, let's get into your. This is a bit crunchy. Let's get into your recent past. We have the Knight of Wands in the reverse. That is the impulse to move, but it is constrained because it's flanked by fear on both sides. You got the Eight of Swords on the, well, you open with the Eight of Swords, which is a feeling of being trapped, a feeling of being damned if you do, damned if you don't. However, you have agency. So no one else is trapping you. You may think, you may be projecting that other people are trapping you, but no one else is trapping you. You're trapped by your own limiting beliefs, and you can release yourself at any time. You have the impulse to do exactly that, but it's in reverse. It's blocked. And the reason I think with these two cards in your recent past, the reason that is blocked is fear. But it's fear that you have been processing, that you are getting through. And if you would let that intuition open up, just take the throttle off of, or redirect your focus on one thing instead of five things, I think you're going to feel a lot clearer. This recent past energy, although it is, it's a lot of overthinking. It's just a lot of overthinking, and I think you are actually pulling out of it. In your current energies, we have the devil in the center of the deck, flanked by strength in the reverse, and also an Eight of Cups in the upright. So that is emotional disengagement, an emotional disengagement from whatever this trapped feeling is, whatever's producing that feeling of trapped. So it's actually a very strong positive, because whatever was keeping you trapped in this fearful position, causing all of this overthinking and weakness too, and just an inability. I have a feeling for some of you this is going to be an addiction, whether it's too much drinking or something like that. The feeling here is that some of you may have been, it may be as simple as some of you just been partying a little too hard over the holidays, but the upshot of that is you're tired of it. You've given it some thought, and you've realized, I think, or you're coming to the realization that when it's just you and you, when there aren't all these other energies vying for your attention, when it's just you and you don't want to be in this loop. You don't want to be enslaved by your own weaknesses anymore. You want to set yourself free, because there's some acknowledgement coming into your conscious awareness slowly, but surely, for sure. There's a sense that you want better for yourself. It's actually beautiful. It's actually beautiful. You're moving away consciously, subconsciously right now, but it's coming into your consciousness that you're going to be moving away from patterns that may have worked great for you. Funny, I just turned the deck over too and got the Fool. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to put that right there on top of your emotional disengagement with this devil. So that you can have a new start. That's actually beautiful. Okay, and incoming energies, this ties in pretty well. There's a caveat at the end, but your incoming energies of the Page of Pentacles is looking at your environment in a new way. literally. You can see this pentacle. These are his values, and maybe 3D values, very much in the physical, but also internal values, things that are important to you that may not show up in your day-to-day life. But you've got this page here. Here's learning, who's taking a look at how he wants to do things in the future, flanked by the 9 of Pentacles, gain. So that's a sense of independence. And in this case, I don't think it's independence. I don't think it's independence from any sort of relationship. I think it's independence from, well, for some of you it might be, but to the Cancer that I'm talking to, this is almost an independence from yourself, from the parts of yourself that you've outgrown. You close off with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. The Queen of Swords in the reverse is there's still a little fear there. There's still a little bit of contemplation as to the strategy, I think, of how you're going to do it. I don't get a sense of lack of determination, but it isn't locked in yet. You're not quite sure how you're going to completely disengage yourself from this issue, whatever it may be. And that'll be different for each of you, but you are in the process of doing that, and it is becoming clearer in your mind. When your intuition, when you open up and allow and start listening to your intuition, then your intellect can catch up. Okay, so with the intuition blocked, your intellect is still ruminating. So you close off the month ruminating, but heading in the right direction. Let's just get 3 cards of advice for you, Cancer. Ooh, Knight of Pentacles in the upright. Very good. 2 of Swords reversed. That is a piece that will not hold. And the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. And then the first word that came to mind on that one was legacy. So this is the advice on this is to do the work. Don't expect miracles overnight. Do the work, because the peace that you are achieving by staying in this toxic loop is not going to bring you the legacy, the long-term legacy that you're actually looking for. And that's what this guy's about. It's about a search for personal fulfillment, and that personal fulfillment is internal, of course, but it's also external. It's also how you what you have to show for all of your learnings and all of your lessons, and also what you have to pass on to others. So for the parents in the group, you might be actually making some of these changes, moving away from devilish behavior, let's call it that, because you're thinking of the next generation. You're thinking of what you're leaving them, both in the material sense and also in the in the broader sense of life lessons. So it's actually really beautiful, and good luck. It looks like you are embarking on a bit of a journey, a bit of an internal journey that's going to lead you toward your higher purpose. So yay, good for you. All right, so that's what I got for you, Cancer. Hope this helps, and please leave it in the comments if that resonated. And now I'm going to move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, what do we got for you? January 2026 for our Scorpios. Actually, when I was dressing for this morning, I was like, oh, I'm reading for Scorpio. I better put something witchy on. So I tried. You can leave it in the comments if you think I hit the mark there. Scorpio, 3 cards for your recent past. We get the 5 of Wands in the reverse. That's good. Ooh, 3 of Cups in the upright. Yay. And the High Priestess in the reverse. Okay. And the current energies, you have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. You have the Nine of Cups in the reverse. Ooh, and the Two of Wands in the upright. The incoming energies, January 2026, we have King of Cups in the reverse, the Page of Swords in the reverse, and you are finishing off the month with Temperance in the upright. In your conscious awareness, the energies around you for the reading in general that you're operating under, you have the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. Ooh, and I just actually automatically, for some weird reason, also pulled the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. I'm going to read that as a clarifier. And at the bottom of the deck, ooh, we have the Knight of Swords in the upright. So your subconscious energies for this reading that you're dealing with, that you may not be aware of, but they're certainly in play, is movement, swift communication. So you want to do something about something. You have something to say, Scorpio. That being said, in your conscious awareness, so you have the subconscious urge to communicate, but in your conscious awareness, it looks to me like there's an assessment of, again, your values, things that you value. Could be actual 3D money, investments, that sort of stuff. If you hear my cat in the background, that's Lewis. He wants to go outside and it's -14. So we're going to have to do this reading with Lewis in full complaint mode because I'm not letting him out at -14. Anyway, so getting back to you, Scorpio, thank you for your patience. So the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse is an assessment. So you're not happy. In your conscious self, you're really not happy. You want to make some changes. It looks like you've been trying to make some changes, but instead of getting the results that you're hoping for, you're getting more of a feeling of chaos. Things are up in the air. Things are not settling, and that's just the general overview. But the urge to move, at least intellectually, is very strongly there. But I don't think you've been able to actually satisfy that. I don't see frustration here, but I do see some emotional, it's not so much of an urge of frustration, but some emotional frustration. There might be a feeling of resentment, possibly. All right, so in your recent past, the energies are that Five of Pentacles reversed. I tend to read that as misdirected focus. And it could be coming out of misdirected focus, but in this case, it is right next to the High Priestess in reverse. So, and also coming off of the Three of Pentacles in the upright. So, to some of you, you have been partying enough. Okay. You've been focusing on your friends, focusing on having a good time. A good time has been had. But it's time to maybe take a more serious, just choose your direction. It's sort of like, it's not drifting, but it's a feeling of everything's good. I'm enjoying my life. I'm just having fun. But then at the same time, you have the nagging undercurrent of, and I'm not actually getting anywhere. I'm not actually achieving anything. All right. I don't see anything particularly bad. And I don't think it's so much, I don't think that you're having so much personal issues so much as maybe a hangover, and not just a momentary hangover where you're going to recover and get right back at it. You might be having a long-term hangover, might be growing out of a set of friends, because it's just not providing you with a sense of fulfillment anymore. Personal fulfillment does not look. Oh, and let's move into your current energies. In your current energies, you have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, which is looking at your current environment and either not learning the lesson or in transition out of in transition. I would say in this case, transition into learning the lesson. You haven't quite got the takeaway from that yet. And it is affecting your personal happiness. Going through the motions, you might be right now going through the motions in your life without actually feeling fulfilled by them. Good news is incoming energies. This is still in your current, so this is right now. You would be feeling this energy. There is a new plan. This is active planning, not active expansion. Nothing has actually happened yet, but there is active planning on your part. So you're planning to make a change, or you're in the beginning stages of planning to make the stage. The impulse is there. It has your attention. And you are definitely intellectually wanting to move. Future energies, you have the King of Cups in the reverse, flanked by the Page of Swords in the reverse, and Temperance. So you're not out of the woods yet. This emotional lack of personal fulfillment, that's gonna manifest at least a little bit, and it may already be. That's gonna manifest with some resentment. If you don't resolve that, get moving pretty quickly, you're gonna have some emotional unbalance about it. You're gonna have a little bit of maybe not victim so much as, but Lewis, stop. You might get a little Lewisy about it. I don't know if you guys could hear that cry, but it's like demanding, but at the same time, bordering on unreasonable around the people that you're working with. And that's because our poor little Page of Swords here, this is the guy that takes in data and makes the internal decision to move forward is upside down. He doesn't know what to do. The information's there, but it has not been fully processed. Good news is that at least emotionally, you're going to get your King of Cups in order. You close off the month with Temperance in the upright. Okay, and so that's a card of achieving emotional balance after an emotional upset, after think of it as stormy seas. There's emotional clarity coming. I don't think there's intellectual clarity coming quite yet. So I don't really see you moving this month in action. I don't see you taking an action. At least it's not on the table here. But you're going to get your emotional self in order with a focus on your personal fulfillment. And when that happens, your subconscious energies, this conversation you're itching to have, will come into your conscious awareness, and then you can actually make the changes. There are some actual 3D physical changes in your environment that I think are down the road from this. Let's just see. I'm going to pull 3 cards and just see what is it that you want to say. What does our Knight of Swords want to say? Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Ooh. 10 of Swords in the upright. That's ruin. Ooh, and the 5 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, that's pretty clear. What your knight, your subconscious knight, wants to say is that's enough. That's enough. The rumination needs to stop. That's enough rumination. That's enough time. And we need to move forward. So that is what you're going to be doing. I would say that you're going to have a very eventful spring. So that's what I got for you, Scorpio. I hope this helped. Please put it in the comments if it did. Like, share, and subscribe. This is a new channel that always helps me out. And next we're on to Pisces. So Pisces for January 2026. Let's see what we got for you. Pisces. 3 cards for your recent past. And again, this can be sometimes it's an event that's actually happened a long time ago, but the energy of the event is still active in your current environment. So when I say recent past, I mean that the energy is recent past. The event may or may not. Event could have been years ago, but it could be a memory or some kind of trigger. But anyway, for your recent past, we get the King of Wands in the upright. That's awesome. The Wheel of Fortune in the upright, also good. Ooh, and the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Okay. Current energies, we have the Seven of Pentacles in the upright. A lot of assessment going on with you water signs. I think I got the Seven of Pentacles with all 3 of you. The Three of Pentacles is flanking that 7, also in the upright. And the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. So a lot of thinking that you have not fully processed yet. And your incoming energies, we have the Six of Wands in the reverse. That's frustration. Oh, Judgment in the reverse. That's procrastination. Ooh, and Knight of Pentacles, but you're still moving. Okay, not an absolute stop. Okay, and for your conscious energies, for the reading, the energies around you that you are aware of. Ooh, the Tower in reverse though, so that's not so bad. Not as bad anyway. And from the bottom of the decks, your subconscious energies, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, very good. So subconsciously, there's an opportunity. Your subconscious knows it. Your subconscious is excited about it. And your conscious self is pretty busy with the energy of a slow speed dismantling of something that needed to fall. All right, Pisces. Pisces is doing some heavy lifting this month. In your recent past, the King of Wands, flanked by the Wheel of Fortune. So that's time and manifestation and vision and movement. But it also is flanked by the Ace of Swords in the reverse. At this point, I'm going to clarify that in a minute, but at this point, what I'm getting off of this is that you did take action in the past. You had a lot of momentum attached to you, and it was moving you forward on your life path. But given that you are aware of this tower, there's a dismantling, and your Ace of Swords may have, isn't so much a lack of truth or a lack of, I get the feeling that you have you're slowing down, or not a lack of determination exactly, but your determination has faltered because the dismantling. Before you might have started building something new because it was on deck and ready to go. The opportunity was there. You were ready for it. However, sometimes just because you're ready doesn't mean everybody else is ready or everything else is ready. And I think you got you got a little bit you might have got a little bit ahead of yourself, that there is some how do I say it? Before you can plant the field, you gotta plow the field, and you also gotta wait for the weather to be conducive to the plant. And I think you got a little bit ahead of yourself. So I'm guessing that Ace of Swords was a strategic pause to let this tower, the dissolution of that tower, complete before you can keep going. And that makes a lot of sense, because moving into your current energies, we have the Seven of Pentacles assessment in the upright, waiting. You've done some work and you're taking a look to see, making an assessment of whether or not it is going to yield what you thought it was going to yield. And there's another energy on the table here. This is cooperation. So whatever you were manifesting in the past that has gotten stalled involves another party. You're working with someone else. to build something that was important to you, but I just get a real sense of pause. And that pause is in the now, it's happening right now. That assessment that you're going through is, I think, has been, is obvious. Like it is in the 3D. It is something that you actively have done physically, but you haven't taken all the data points that you collected from your assessment and properly alchemized it. You haven't finished looking at it. And the reason you haven't finished looking at it is because there's still something in your environment, and that is pertinent to the vision and the goals and whatever it is that you were building, that hasn't dissolved yet. All right. So you've got a half planted field and it's still winter. It's still winter. Okay. Moving into your incoming energies, we have the Six of Wands in reverse. That's frustration. Hang on, Pisces, hang on. You're getting frustrated here. And this is procrastination. And judgment in the upright is a crossroads. So this is important to you. We're not dealing with some small thing. We're dealing with something that is very important to you, crossroads, really. And it is important to your physical life, not just your mental health, not just your emotional health, but your physical life. And you got a little ahead of yourself. But the good news is you're finishing off with the Knight of Pentacles. And when I use that analogy of planting a field, this guy is literally planting a field. This is the guy who stays until the work is done, that does it at that can tolerate a slow pace. I mean, he is next to the Six of Wands in the reverse, which is a lack of tolerance for a slow pace. But you're finishing off with a sense of slow movement forward toward your goal. And so I don't see this closing out. I'm going to take a look at that tower in the reverse and see, will the tower close out by the end of January? See where that goes. Queen of Cups, good. Okay, so opening, so an emotional breath of fresh air. Oh, and strength. Okay. Yeah, okay. So that tower, that dismantling, whatever it is that gave you pause and maybe put your determination for your goals off in the past, made you feel a little disheartened maybe, or made you question whether or not you were doing the right thing. That dismantling of of uh, of a core pillar in your life, that dismantling, whether it was an emotional pillar or a mental pillar or a physical pillar, whatever it is that had to go, will be gone by the end of the month. You'll have finished processing that, and you're going to be able to get back to building on your vision, but you're going to do it slowly. You're going to start a little slower this time, because the goal is super important to you. It's a level up kind of goal. All right. Well, good. That got a little scary there for a second, but it ended on a great note. So that's what I got for you, Pisces. If it resonated, please put it in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.